what to see in a clinical report. So this is a model of a clinical report where first you have the patient identifiers, obviously, and the prescriber information. Then we give a brief of the clinical indication. Then on the red in detail, we give a, in one liner, we say the major result. So this is a result statement. And then we give a detailed description of the test findings. I'll just come in detail to this in a while. And if at all we identified any VUS or additional findings, we report it here. And every report is CAP logo accredited. We have the CAP logo here, as we are a CAP accredited lab. In the second page, you have the details of the variant. What is the variant? What is the clinical significance? What are all the clinical trials that have taken place? And then we give a detailed description of the methodology, both the lab work as well as the informatic work. And we give the disclaimers followed by the signatories. Then you have the references, and as an appendix, we give the percentage coverage of the gene in this assay. So this is what I was talking about earlier, read depth and the percentage. So percentage coverage. So you can see that in our MPN panel, in this particular report, the JAK2 exon 12 has 100% coverage, 14 has 100% coverage, CALR and MPL also have 100% coverage. So moving further, I will, with help of a case study, I will try to describe you what to see for in a clinical report, NGS report. So this is a case of 62-year-old male with thrombocytopenia and suspected MPN. They were tested for JAK2 and CALR by Sanger sequencing elsewhere, and the person was found to be negative. And the doctor said he was refractory for the treatment, and the doctor wanted to do the MPN panel by NGS. So first thing we see that clinically relevant variants were identified in the JAK2 gene, particularly the Valin 617 phenylalanine mutation, V617F mutation. So in the description, you can see that it is the first, it is the JAK2 gene. Then we give something called as a CDS variant detail. So this is nothing but the variant position in the cDNA of the subject or the RNA of the subject. Okay. So if you go back to the basics of DNA, DNA becomes RNA, RNA becomes protein. So this RNA, we convert all the U's to T, it becomes a cDNA or the complementary DNA. So there is a standard genome assembly available for every single RNA transcript that is identified in humans. So this mutation is a G to T mutation in the 1849th position of the cDNA. Okay, and the transcript ID is this long ID. So mostly we represent using the canonical transcript. Canonical transcript is the longest transcript that is there. Then we describe the protein position of the mutation. So this is there in the 617th amino acid of the protein, where a valin has become a phenylalanine. So you can easily see that there is a P suffix to it. P dot means we are talking about the protein. C dot means we are talking about the cDNA. Okay. So if we are talking about the genome, we give it a G dot. G dot means it's there. We are talking about the genome position. Then we give the depth. So here is where you can identify the read depth of that particular mutation. So here the depth we have achieved is 12,281x depth we have identified. In other words, this particular region of the gene is sequenced to 12,281 times in our assay. And the mutant allele is present in 62.9% of the patient's cell, whatever we extract the DNA. The function of the gene, it's an oncogene. We give the details of that here. And we also give the relevance of this mutation as a small snapshot relevance in here. So this JAK2 mutation is the diagnostic marker for MPN, etc. And coming further down in the report, we give the variant interpretation. So it starts with what JAK2 is. It's a tyrosine kinase, what family it is, etc. Then we give the chromosomal position. So this is what is called as the G dot. So in the chromosome 9, this particular number 5073770 is the place where this mutation is there. So that is called as the G dot position or the genomic position that corresponds to a cDNA position of this where a G has become a T. And in the protein, the amino acid change is at P dot V617F in the codon 670. Then we say it is a gain of function mutation. And as I said, we look for this mutation frequency in various public databases. And in the exact database, the minor allele frequency is 0.067%. And it is not seen in the 1000 genome database at all. 1000 genome database is a healthy population database. Then we go on to describe various publications most relevant to this particular mutation and the phenotype.